They cannot put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They have a mandate to invest in real estate, but they'd love a taste of Bitcoin. It's a $4 trillion business. I believe in the future, people will not buy real estate by itself. I want to combine these two real world assets, something that's 2,000 years old. Everybody understands real estate, okay? 99% of planet Earth is living in a piece of real estate, okay? Less than 2% of planet Earth understands Bitcoin.
That's Grant Cardone, the ultimate sales trainer, marketing mastermind, and self-made real estate mogul. He's authored 11 best-selling books, amassed a $1.6 billion fortune, and now he's revolutionizing the game by introducing the most conservative investors to Bitcoin. In this episode, we discuss who the biggest players in real estate really are and how they're thinking about Bitcoin.
Most people don't know who owns real estate in this country. It's not the syndicator down the street.
Where he spots massive opportunity in the market today.
If I only get 5%, I could be a $200 billion company. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, man.
And battle-tested keys to success in sales and marketing.
If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hate it. And that's all I was doing. I just hated something I didn't understand.
Grant also drops his unfiltered optimism for the future and explains how he would rocket back to billionaire status if he had to do it all over again.
This is the best time in my lifetime to make money. If I was 20 years old, I'd be a billionaire before I'm 30 easily.
Good afternoon, Grant. Thank you so much for joining us today. To kind of kick off the conversation, I wanted to talk about if there was a particular moment where you had that kind of Bitcoin light switch. So you originally were a bit of a skeptic, if I'm not mistaken, back in like the 2012 eras. And I think that your brother may have helped direct you in the right direction. But you've gone from a skeptic to, if I'm not mistaken, Cardone Capital has now over 100 million in Bitcoin. You recently just sold a Miami house for 400 Bitcoin. So you just dived into the deep end. Was there a particular moment where you went from skeptic to just, I'm all in on this
Well,
thing?
let me clear up some things. First of all, we did not consummate the sale in the house for 400 Bitcoin.
Oh.
We advertised
well, you can leave
house.
now. Goodbye.
Yeah, we advertised the house for Bitcoin. Somebody picked it up. This shows you how fake news can go crazy, right?
Yeah.
I advertised the house. 72 hours later, I had an offer on the house. The guy I said, I have an offer within 72 hours of posting the house for sale for 400 Bitcoin. I think it was 400. Yeah, $44 million. And then I wrote, hey, I got an offer within 72 hours. I didn't say it was in Bitcoin and I didn't say it was closed. But
Gotcha.
I think Forbes magazine picked it up. Grant Cardone sells home in Golden Beach for 400 Bitcoin. I'm like, no, you guys didn't check with me. The deal's not closed. Like, that's how fake news gets around.
You think somebody would call and just be like, hey, could you just confirm this for me? Like, just call somebody at the company?
They don't confirm anything. They just report first. And that's what I was banking on, by the way. So, the Bitcoin audience, man, they go crazy with information. Any of the crypto bros. Okay. Second thing is, I have never actually been negative about Bitcoin. Okay. I have been negative about all coins.
Yep. Good.
I've always been positive about the blockchain. I always said that Bitcoin would be the winner, but that I didn't understand the rest of them.
Yep.
And so I'm just a skeptic. I am a natural. My brother's a much different investor than I am. And if you ever meet a real estate investor, you're going to meet somebody very conservative. Typically, the 99% of all real estate investors cash flow, not flippers and not builders and developers. I'm a cash flow real estate guy for 37 years. We're conservative. We're not highly educated. I admit it. I don't have some super 260 IQ or whatever big IQ is. I'm not a coder. We don't really trust anyone. We're skeptics by nature. That's why we want a real asset with a real address, with a real location, with real cash flow. And it's got pipes and roofing and boarding, and there's something real there. So that's why real estate people are typically not going to move to digital assets first, but Bitcoiners and real estate people have a lot of things in common.
Oh yeah.
Conversations are very, very similar because what both have in common is they don't trust fiat. So I've been converting fiat for 37 years. I'd get some cash, and real estate people are always cash poor. Like there's an old, don't go to dinner with a real estate guy because they never have any money. Okay. because all their money's in a real asset that's not liquid. So, okay, that's part of the story. Second part of the story is my first introduction to Bitcoin was in 2013. My brothers helped me a lot with the Bitcoin story, but that's not where I heard about Bitcoin. I was given 115 pieces for a speaking gig. I still have them today.
Do you really? Oh my God, it's perfect.
Bro. So somebody called my office. This story's pretty public now, but guy calls my office, says, "Hey, I understand Grant's in Las Vegas. We're having a conference here. Would he come down to I think it was Mandalay Bay, and speak to our sales team?" And my guy Jared said, "Yeah, here's the fee." And the guy says, "We can't pay in cash, but we can pay in Bitcoin." And Jared's like, "Yeah, well, it's a cash deal or it's a no deal." And I heard Jared, he's the president of the company. And I said, "Jared, what did the guy say?" He's like, "He doesn't have money. He's got Bitcoin." And I said, "What'd you tell him?" He's like, I said, "No." I said, "Bro, just because you don't know what Bitcoin is not a reason to say no. I mean, you're treating it like a damn chlamydia or something. You know? like you don't even know what it is, bro.
When it's merely just a herpes. So come on, let's roll.
It never goes away.
What if it's better? What if it's a cure to AIDS? You just said no. We never say no. I wrote a book called Sell or Be Sold. This book right here. You know, I'm a salesman at heart, and that book says never say no ever. Say yes first, and then figure out what you got later. And then if it doesn't work for you, then get unwind from it because it's not good for you. But don't say no to something that you don't understand. That's stupid. And so I said, "Hey, look, tell the guy I'm in town anyway. I'd go over there. Truth is, I would have spoke for nothing." I said, "Dude, take his bullshit Bitcoin." That's what I thought of it. Take it, figure out where to keep it. I don't even know where to keep it. Do we keep it at the bank? Do we keep it in the closet? Do I keep it in the car? What do I do with it, right? The guy taught me where to keep it. It's 115 times, don't even tell your audience, 115 times 112 or whatever it is today.
Yep.
It was a pretty good 45 minutes.
Yep.
It was better than selling shoes.
Heck yeah.
And I still have them. So that was my introduction. Okay. And then I started following it because if you own some, you actually look and see, oh, it went for $500 when I got it to 800 and then 1,200. And then I'd make jokes to my executive team. You guys almost cost me like 50 grand when it doubled. And then, I started playing with it. I started every once in a while, I'd watch it go. It went up to 16,000. Then it collapsed down to 4,000. I'm like, man, this thing is crazy. This is the worst investment in the world, and the whole time I'm collecting real estate. But the big aha moment was I was on Spaces on X. I think it was still Twitter, maybe or Spaces. Elon had just taken over, and there was a debate. Somebody asked me to be on a debate, and the debate was Bitcoin, real estate, or stock. And at the end, I was the real estate guy, and some guy came on there and said, "Grant, you should sell all your real estate." And at that time, I had $5 billion worth of real estate.
Wow.
And he's like, it took me 30 years to accumulate $5 billion of real estate. If you should have had all Bitcoin the whole time and never had your real estate. I'm like, bro, that's so stupid. Like, do you really think Bitcoin is going to be all assets? Now, these are these maximalists, that like they only see the world in Bitcoin. Everything is orange. Is that an Astro shirt?
That is his Bitcoin Mentor orange jersey.
Dude, everything's orange. Everything. You guys, everything is orange. If you guys saw a vagina, it wouldn't be pink. It would be orange.
Interesting.
Orange vagina is not good, bro.
Very Star Trek.
Hey, I'm just happy to be there, Grant. I don't care what color it is.
Dude, I'm with you. Okay. So, the point is, I got off that thing and I said, why are people arguing about which one? What if you could do all of them in one? And that's what I started investigating. I met with Mike Saylor 3 or 4 times. My brother set up the meeting. Gary's been very, a big voice in the crypto community. He's a super, super intelligent guy. my twin brother, Gary Cardone. And he got a meeting with me and Mike Slater. And I said, Mike, how would I intertwine real estate and Bitcoin? And of course, Mike, because he's got the deep orange pill. He only sees everything as Bitcoin. He says, oh man, you shouldn't even worry about the real estate. Just throw the real estate away and just do the Bitcoin. I said, but that's not what I am, bro. Like I'm a real estate company. I have a real estate. I'm not throwing $5 billion of real estate away. I have trophy assets. These are trophy assets. You cannot rebuild these. I own assets. I just bought this deal in Boca Raton.
Nice.
Okay, there's 21 million Bitcoin. There's only one of those. If you guys value supply and demand, only one on that location, Main and Main, as good as you can get, irreplaceable real estate. I paid $235 million for it. It'll be worth that piece of property will be worth $500 or $600 million one day. And it cash flows. And people live there. And I'm like, I'm not throwing that away. It sits in front of $40 million homes. Every unit has a view of the ocean. It is not another piece of real estate. It's one of one. It'd be like saying, I'm not going to own the 16th Chapel or the Plaza Hotel in New York. It's ridiculous. It's one of one, not one of 21 million. Very difficult to rebuild. Regulations are crazy. You can't get labor. The glass, the steel, the concrete, irreplaceable, and it has a real use. And I said, Mike, I want to combine these two real world assets. I want to combine them. Something that's 2,000 years old. Everybody understands real estate. Okay. 99% of planet Earth is living in a piece of real estate. Okay. Less than 2% of planet Earth understands Bitcoin.
Easily. Maybe less.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that. Maybe a half of 1%. Okay. And nobody owns it. So I'm basically combining something. I'm basically taking something people understand and laying Bitcoin on top of it. Okay. And then it's like the Tesla. The first Tesla you were in was probably not in a dealership. It was probably somebody picking you up in one.
Yeah, no, that's a fair
point. You got
point.
introduced to it. You got in the backseat of the car and said, "Oh wow, this is cool." Same thing. What I'm doing, I'm going to onboard more people into Bitcoin than the Bitcoiners have in the last 13 years.
I'm okay with that.
I thank you for that.
Yeah.
I want to tease it apart a little bit, Grant, because there's a few things that stood out to me. One, to your point, like I do agree in the sense that like, for me, Bitcoin is the savings technology, right? It's just the medium at which I save in, but you have to go out there and create value for others, right? And so if your expertise is in real estate, go create value in real estate and then capture the difference and save in Bitcoin. That makes perfect sense why you would have both that you're working with. I want to dive into exactly what you're doing, kind of how the numbers look, what's the product, how it kind of gels together, what you're thinking about there. But before I do, I'm really curious if your peers in the real estate space. So for me, I've been onboarding a lot more real estate investors into Bitcoin from the education side, from the consulting side. A lot of them coming out of Ontario. It's been really impressive. Do they think you're crazy?
Can you convince the people in Canada to not give up their guns?
Oh my God. I can do Alberta. The best I can do is Alberta, which will likely, I'm going to push for separation at some point in time. But I was just having a conversation about this. The state of Canada, what's so unfortunate, compared to the US GDP is growing. US GDP per capita is at 85,000K, whereas Canada is 58K. US is continuing to invest in industrial machinery and equipment. Canada is not. Canada, we have 1 in 5 are employed by the government.
Crazy.
Like, it's getting so bad, especially when we have the neighbor to the south to compare to, and it's still not bad enough to get people to change their mind.
It's insane, dude. It's amazing.
It's been just horrific.
And I love the Canadian people, by the way. I've been across from Vancouver Island to Nova Scotia, dude. I started my career in consulting in Canada.
Really? For sales consulting?
Yeah. Saskatoon, Regina, Winnipeg, Calgary, Banff, Victoria Island, Vancouver Island, like Nova Scotia, Winnipeg, Toronto, Hamilton. Like I was over there. I must have been up there 150 times.
I want to come back to that a little bit later as well, too, because I do want to pick your brain just on sales and communications, because you are unbelievably good at them. That's clearly like a major skill set that's gotten you to where you are. But jumping back on the real estate thing, do your other people in the same space, do they think what you're doing is crazy? And then tell us what you're doing.
Yeah. So the thing I'm most excited about is the moat. The moat I have around this company. We're going to take our company public, Cardone Capital, this year.
Nice.
If not this year, it'll be the first week of next year, first month of next year.
Congratulations.
But we're really on track to take our real estate Bitcoin hybrid company. We've done 12 deals this year. Real
Wow.
estate, Bitcoin, fully funded, integrated vehicles, LLCs, where we have real estate and Bitcoin merged together. And the thing I'm most excited about is not that I'm going to create this and take it public and it's going to help a bunch of investors. The most exciting thing is the moat that I have around this company, because my peers, most of which are the Starwoods, MetLife, New York Life, the Nuveen, these are the biggest real estate owners in the country. Most people don't know who owns real estate in this country. It's not the syndicator down the street. It's massive $1 trillion insurance companies, Allstate, State Farm, New York Life, MetLife. They own massive, I'm talking $150 billion worth of real estate on their portfolio.
Wow.
And they use that because they trust the cash flow from the real estate, particularly multifamily. They trust that cash flow to pay off death benefits.
Yeah.
Or accidents. Okay. They take the premiums from their insurance and they invest at Harvard. Harvard owns a tremendous amount of real estate, retail, hotels, not land, office buildings. Anyway, these guys, there's 190 REITs in this country, real estate investment trusts. It's a $4 trillion business. Okay. It started in 1960. The REIT business started in 1960. It has not changed for 65 years. The reason I'm saying this is because that's my competition. It's who I buy. It's who I buy the assets from or sell them to. They cannot put Bitcoin on their balance sheet.
Would it be because of the risk profile?
No, they will never be able to put real estate on their, because of the tax vehicle that it is. Their regulations and bylaws will not allow them by law to ever even have cash in quantity. They have to distribute 95% of their cash to their investors, or it violates their REIT. And they could never hold any other asset on their balance sheet. Okay, so that's $4 trillion. Now, the people that invest in REITs, insurance companies, pension funds, CalPERS, would love a taste of Bitcoin, but cannot hold Bitcoin, but they have a mandate to invest in real estate. This goes back to the 99% of people believe in real estate. 99% of institutions believe in real estate as a cash flow producing. It's going to be there. I can depend on it. Shark scores very low. It's a trusted asset class. And they have a mandate to invest in real estate. But they'd love a taste of Bitcoin. When we create this publicly traded company, Cardone Capital Real Estate Bitcoin Hybrid, if I only get 5% of a $4 trillion REIT, I'll be a whatever. What's 5% of 4 trillion? I had 200 billion. I could be a $200 billion company, and is that right? Or 20 billion? I don't know. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, man. I could be a big boy in no time. Now, if I could suck up 10 or 15% of that, that's one moat. Okay. The second moat is this. Let's say a venture capitalist, he's got $5 billion. Our portfolio is $5 billion today. And he's got $5 billion in cash. He just sold out of some AI thing and he walked away with $5 billion. He's like, I'm going to get in the real estate. I'm going to get in the real estate market. I'm going to go buy trophy real estate. Yeah. You can walk in town with $5 billion, but you need relationships to buy real estate. Okay. Buying real estate takes more than money. It takes relationships, connections, research. It doesn't move very easily. Okay. And so I've been developing these relationships in real estate for 30 years. We have lines, like literally like funnels, projects ready to go where other people built them. We have trophy assets located that we want to just continue to add. That even if you had a bunch of money, you couldn't just walk in and buy it. Two, if you did, you probably wouldn't add Bitcoin to it. So there's a tremendous difficulty in the real estate space right now that goes under advertised, that the guys that are buying real estate right now are having trouble raising money just for the real estate. How they gonna make sense of raising money for Bitcoin too? Now, the last part of this moat, the third part of the moat, is this: the people that I'm competing against. You're asking me how this legacy money looks at this thing I'm doing?
Yeah.
Or they don't even get it. They're like, "What are you talking about, Bitcoin?" Like, we have trouble. We're having problems with our plumbing, our CapEx, a new roof, buying deals, selling deals, getting funding and financing. We got maturity loans maturing. We got $3 trillion worth of debt maturing. And you're talking about taking care of that, the plumbing, the tenant, the economy, and now we're going to go buy Bitcoin. I don't even know what you're talking about.
That's beautiful. It's going to give you a wonderful opportunity there. I'm curious to see how the market does respond. I'm curious to see how the public offering goes. On that front, I'm actually kind of curious. And
Can I just,
yes, go.
We've done 12 deals. I can tell you how the public's going to respond to this.
Yes.
We've tested it 12 times now. We're raising money 3 times faster than we have. The investors, about 10 to 15 years older, 80% of them have never bought any Bitcoin or any altcoin. 80%. 50% had never invested with me, but knew me and knew I was buying real estate. And the moment I put the two together, real estate and Bitcoin, we put them together as one thing. Money came in easier, it came in older, and it came in bigger.
Interesting.
What's your interpretation of why that might be? Is it that it's almost like you have more upside potential and you're still keeping it protected with what's traditionally seen as a safe bet in terms of real estate? Is it just that it's got a lot of curiosity? Why do you think the investors are quicker to jump on this? What is it that's actually exciting them when you talk to them?
Yeah, well, real estate's boring.
Yeah, okay, fair.
It's boring, dude. It's just boring. It's like, what? It's going to be a 6% cash flow, maybe a 10 or 12, maybe a 15% return on, on investment. It's going to be 6 or 7 years. It's a long, slow, drawn out, dependable, boring. Now, the problem is when I go from that all the way to Bitcoin, now you got to educate people.
Yep.
You brought this up earlier. When you're educating someone, they are not an investor, they are a student. So the moment you start explaining to somebody how to cook the recipe for chocolate chip cookies, they are not cooking, they're not making cookies, they're learning about cookies. Okay. What I've done is skip the white paper, skip the Bitcoin standard, skip the 100 hours that Saylor talks about, and basically said, I'm buying a piece of real estate and I'm adding some Bitcoin. Okay. By the way, if you don't want the Bitcoin, let me know and I'll keep it for myself. But it's the same investment.
I think that went well for you from the speaking gig. So yeah.
So I'm buying the real estate. It's going to cash flow. The rents are going to go up. One day in the future, it's going to be worth more money. And by the way, we have a little bit of Bitcoin with it. If the Bitcoin goes up, great. If the Bitcoin goes down, no problem. I still have the real estate.
Are you sick of the fiat-funded fast fashion that falls apart quicker than the dollar? You know, the cheap stuff made to drain your wallet one inferior product at a time? Stop it. There's a better way. Panties for Bitcoin is a family-oriented company built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners and held to that unbreakable Bitcoin standard. Certified made-in-Italy underwear that lasts as long as your metal backups. Guys, grab a couple pairs of those lightning boxers for yourself, the softest, most comfortable, durable pair you'll ever own. And surprise your lady with luxurious panties, bras, and thongs. No better way to spark those all-too-important Bitcoin conversations and spread adoption than attractive people in their underwear. Naturally, you can pay with Bitcoin, supporting the circular economy and building that parallel system. Simply scan the QR code or click the link in the description down below and head to pantiesforbitcoin.com and use promo code BTC Sessions to save 10%. Snag yours and share your love for Bitcoin in a new peer-to-peer way. Attention all freedom-loving Alberta Bitcoiners. Tired of the big six banks freezing funds, blocking transactions, or slamming your account shut without warning or explanation just for dipping into Bitcoin? Remember the Freedom Convoy debanking nightmare?
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act.
But don't let them control your money or erase your financial life. Join the pioneers over at Bow Valley Credit Union, a place run by freedom and sound money advocates. I bank there myself. They are the first and only traditional bank or credit union in Canada to directly integrate Bitcoin via their Bitcoin gateway. If you have to use dollars, why settle for a fiat-only account when you could seamlessly move in and out of Bitcoin? No hassle, no questions, no rehypothecation, no leverage. This isn't paper Bitcoin. Withdraw to self-custody at any time. Insured and auditable, it's perfect for adding Bitcoin to your corporate balance sheet. If you or your business is in Alberta, switch to your Bitcoin refuge at bowvalleycu.com. Scan the QR code or click the link below.
I'm curious if for that, I'm not sure if how the two directly work together, and so you can maybe explain this for me. So are you thinking something along the lines of like the property has this Bitcoin associated with it so that you can also use that for the upkeep on the property over time, meaning that the Bitcoin will hopefully appreciate in value faster? So in terms of like, you got to upgrade the roof, you got to do some new infrastructure, you got to deal with some upgrades to the plumbing or whatever it might be, that you already had this faster appreciating treasury on hand to cover those expenses.
Yeah, it could. That is an argument, you know, that because it should be, well, first of all, it's liquid.
Yep.
And a problem with real estate is sometimes, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, when you need something, you don't have any money for it. But I mean, that's just poor management, because you really should have planned for that. I mean, the roof is 20 years old. You're going to need a new one at some point. You should have planned for it. We would plan for it. So I'd hate to sell my Bitcoin for a roof.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. But that being said, I'd hate to sit on a bunch of cash for 5 or 6 or 7 years because it's dying. And now the roof doesn't cost me 200 grand. It costs me 200 plus the money I lost, 300 grand, because it's going to be 300 grand in the future, not 200. Right. Because of inflation. So yeah, there's an argument that I can use my CapEx to solve those problems. A bigger issue is, let's say the loan on that property was 5 years. And 5 years from now, we end up and interest rates are 12%, not 5. I'm borrowing at 5 today. Keep that in mind when I bring up some other things that we can do with real estate. I'm borrowing money at 5 today on these big complexes. It's the cheapest money in the country is on these large complexes that cash flow. But let's say I wake up in 5 years. I just did this one deal, and in 2030, interest rates are 12%. I'm like, I don't want to refinance this at 12%. And Bitcoin, let's say Bitcoin went from 100,000 to 500,000 in that 5 years. Okay. Well, I can sell a fifth of my Bitcoin and pay my property off.
Yep.
And wait till rates come back down again and then do that. Okay. Because I have the liquidity. I have the most illiquid asset in the world, real estate. It's very illiquid, which I love. I love not being liquid. Because when I'm not liquid, I don't have to make decisions. Okay. And then I have this other one that's very liquid. It's like a yin yang thing going on.
There's also the element.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, there's also, it seems like by combining it with real estate, you'll have access to some of the cheapest capital to go out and buy the Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. So the other benefit is I'm basically buying, like this is the little demonstration we show our investors. We're doing this deal right now. We start with 38% Bitcoin and 62% real estate. If the Bitcoin does anything like it should, I'm going to end up with more Bitcoin than real estate over time. And I didn't change anything. Nothing changed. The rents went up. I know what the rents are going to go up. The rents on that property have to go up $2 million. My rents have to increase. My NOI has to increase $2 million for me to make 100 million on the real estate. I know that's where I have to get. I can control that too, by the way. If I bought in the right place, the right location, right time, and I know the market, I can move the rents over time. If we print money, then those rents will escalate even faster. Either way, I'm going to get that score on the real estate. What I'm getting by adding the Bitcoin on this deal was $235 million. And we added, this is the largest real estate Bitcoin fund ever done in the world. We added $100 million of Bitcoin to this purchase.
Wow.
So we raised 230 for the property, another 100 for the Bitcoin. We put it in one LLC and they live together as one entity, as a family. We don't want to separate them. Okay. And then we let time, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years. Both of them are long-term plays and we're just going to wait it out. Now, the deal went from a 5% cash flow to a 2.5% cash flow when we raised the money for the Bitcoin. But we asked our investors, would you rather a 5% cash flow on the real estate or a 2.5% cash flow and get the Bitcoin kicker? And everybody's like, give me the kicker.
Interesting.
Give me the kicker. Okay, you don't need to explain the Bitcoin standard. You don't need to tell me there's 21 million pieces and that 3 million pieces have been lost and that the fiat's going to hell and the US dollar is going to be replaced. Like, I'm not doing any of that stuff that you guys do to orange pill people. Okay, I'm not educating people. I want people to invest with me in the project. The most important and most compelling story is that I'm buying the deal whether you come in or not. Okay, I've already funded the deal. I funded that deal before I asked anybody to put money in the deal. And so now when I do 12 of these, okay, and I end up with a couple $1 billion worth of real estate, real addresses, you could see the properties, and $200 or $300 or $400 million worth of Bitcoin, and we create a treasury company. But this treasury company, unlike many of the ones that are being created right now, has a real use product called real estate.
That's very interesting. Gary, I have some questions, but do you want to jump in there quick?
I mean, there's just so much. Gosh, something you mentioned at the beginning, it kind of took me, it put me off slightly when you said how much you had. And one of the things we talk about here in Bitcoin Mentor is like, never tell me your seed phrase, never tell me how much you have in your stack. So just for your own safety, I would urge you to not mention how much you have publicly.
I bet you his security team is phenomenal.
Saylor, I know how much Saylor has. Saylor reports 3 times a week.
In terms of MicroStrategy, yes.
Yeah, Saylor bought $21 million worth this weekend. Not even a big purchase for him. I'm like,
yes, and it's with
I text Michael, were you bored this weekend? Were you what are you doing, Mike? You sitting around saying, fuck, I got nothing to do. Okay, I got I got $21 million sitting around. Let me bang.
Life goals.
Right.
I've just got 21 million sitting around.
Right. But Michael isn't storing it, in his
You don't
desk
know where
drawer.
I'm storing it. You don't know where I'm storing
And
it.
I don't want to know where you're storing it.
And
Don't
I'm not
tell
gonna
me.
tell you where I'm storing it.
Don't tell me.
But I'm going to tell you, you have to kill about 8 people to get it.
All right. Good.
And let me just say to the Bitcoin community, for all you guys that are scared of somebody coming to grab you, right? A thief typically is not a killer. To steal something is one thing, to kill someone is another thing.
Agreed.
And so for the 2 stories that you've heard about somebody getting, like, if you kill me, like if you come to my house to kill me to get it, like, trust me, there's going to be a fight. Okay. I live in Florida, bro. We open carry here.
Good. A lot of people moving to Florida these days.
That's why we buy real estate in Florida. Okay, go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, I'm here to hear you, man. I'm not here to just.
Well, dude,
talk.
I'm gonna be a publicly traded company here in 2 months. Like, you're gonna know how much real estate I own. You're gonna know how many doors we have. You're gonna know what my earnings are.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna know how much Bitcoin I have. You're gonna know what my cost basis is.
All right.
And you're still not gonna be able to get my shit.
I'm happy to hear that. Good.
I'm a public guy. Somebody said, man, you're gonna hate being public. I'm like, I've been a public guy for 25 years.
It's fair.
I'm very public. Everybody
That's
knows
fair.
everything about me. Married 22 years, 2 beautiful kids, a Republican, supported Trump, cash is trash. It's been trash for 30 years. I was saying that before Ray Dalio was. He stole it from me. And if you don't like what I say, I'm like, there you go.
You talked earlier about how your real estate, a lot of stuff, you have trophy assets. And I definitely think there's something to that, because some of us in the Bitcoin community would just say, hey, we're going to stack sats, we're going to live in a van, and just all the money is going to be put into Bitcoin with such maxis. And at the same time, we say, it's great to stack, but part of being alive is living your life and finding things that you enjoy or are meaningful to you. So if having a trophy asset is meaningful to you, then please enjoy it. And you're not going to do the Bitcoin. I'm not going to put my Bitcoin in a case and show people off the Bitcoin that I have.
Yeah.
What would you say, I guess, are what you view as the pros and cons of Bitcoin versus the pros and cons of real estate?
Yeah. So let me go back to the trophy. I'm not saying I live in a trophy asset.
Of course.
I own trophy assets
Sure.
that other people live in
Sure.
because they'll pay a premium to live in that trophy. And they don't want to leave the trophy because it's hard to replace it. That's why you want trophies. You want a trophy wife. You want trophy kids. Dude, you want trophy business. Like you want things that are hard to replace, right? So what do I not like about Bitcoin? I mean,
Good answer.
Hard to find anything I don't like about it.
Good answer.
Okay.
Okay. Now I tell you what I don't like. I don't like that people don't trade it. You know, like I don't think anybody's ever going to pay me Bitcoin for my house. I never thought anybody would. I'd be worried about the person's mental situation. What's wrong with you that you would trade Bitcoin for a house? Something's crazy, but it's great advertising.
Yep, of course.
You know, I don't like how liquid Bitcoin is. Now, I don't like that because personally, I don't want to make decisions every day. Right? So I don't like I don't like 7 days a week. But it does create the volatility. But for somebody that's not disciplined, it's a problem. Now I'm extremely disciplined, so it doesn't bother me, but I look at this is what I don't like about Bitcoin. Because the more you talk about it, the more I'm like, I got to check and see what it's worth now. God damn it. It turns everybody into a degenerate. Okay. Real estate. Like I've owned that property right there for 6 years. I don't look at the price of it today. I just look at the cash flow every month.
That's great.
I'm just going to wait until one day somebody comes along and says, you paid 140, we'll give you 200 million. I put 60 million in, 60 million becomes 120 million. And I got all the cash flow and I got the tax write-offs. That's another thing I don't like about Bitcoin. I don't get any depreciation with it.
Yeah, fair.
Okay. When I buy real estate, like when I bought that $230 million deal, we probably got $75 million worth of tax write-offs.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't like that Bitcoin doesn't cash flow. I love cash flow, dude. I'm a cash flow hoe.
Okay.
Dude, I like drips. I like drips. I lack confidence in my ability to produce money in the future. I always have. Ever since my dad died when I was 10 years old, and it left me with this thing I can't get rid of, which is don't trust tomorrow. And so, because when my dad died, not only did I lose my dad, but the family lost income. No money came in next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. So I became very dependent upon cash flow. If my dad would have owned real estate when he died, if he'd have owned cash flow producing real estate, apartments, our income wouldn't have stopped because his career stopped. And so I don't like that Bitcoin doesn't flow every month. But look, now I'm at a place where I don't need more income. I want to create extreme amounts of wealth. So now what do I not like about real estate? I've done the Bitcoin side. Real estate's slow. It's heavy. It's boring. It's got plumbing and roofs to take care of and windows and evictions and bed bugs and termites and tenants and it's a pain in the ass, bro. But I don't deal with any of that because we have 14,000 units. So I have managers that deal with all that. What do I like about both of them together is it's like two super beings, it's a 2,000-year-old asset and a 15-year-old asset that converge together. And man, if you could figure out how to meld these two together for the next 10 or 15 or 20 years and be patient with both of them, I think you're going to get super rich.
I think something you mentioned about discipline, I think it's an important thing to consider because people do think differently. And when you said that real estate is a boring asset and Bitcoin's a bit too exciting for you, I don't know if I view it the opposite, but I do view it differently. I view Bitcoin as a boring thing. I view it as just a savings vehicle. I know it's going to go up and down every day. I'm not even thinking about it. Oh, it went up 30,000. It could still go down. It went down 30,000. It'll go up again.
How much you got, Gary?
I'm just viewing long term. Like this is just the day to day, week to week, month to month, even year to year doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's just this is long term saving. So
Yeah.
I view it as boring, but I get what you're saying that different people have different levels of discipline.
You're a more secure person than I am. I'm very insecure. So, I don't trust anything. I keep waiting for the freaking, world to fall apart.
And I think that's wise. I'm skeptical too. I think a lot of Bitcoin people are skeptics by nature. I think that's great.
I want to tease that out a little bit because one, I was immediately taken back by the "don't trust tomorrow" saying that you have, just a direct parallel to "don't trust verify" in Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
There's this healthy skepticism and make sure that you know what you're looking at, make sure you're planning for the future. And I found that very beautiful and maybe part of what even like attracted you to Bitcoin as you discovered and explored it more. Switching gears just a little bit, talking about kind of
Nathan, on the other end, I've never bought gold, never bought silver, uranium.
Yeah, that's interesting that you, especially being in the real estate space, that you wouldn't have looked at precious metals at some point as well too prior. Was there a particular reason why gold was never on the radar?
Yeah, because I'm like, it never made sense to me. I'm like, somebody's got to go dig it up to get it out of the ground. I have to buy it. I have to validate that it's even real gold. That people don't think they think that's easy. That's not easy, and that's an appraiser. It doesn't cash flow. I can't write it off. There is no tax deduction. It doesn't cash flow. Maybe it appreciates. Dude, I watched this thing go sideways for 35 years.
Yeah, that was flat for a long time. It's ripping now, which is kind of concerning.
It's a terrible investment. Everybody's having a party now. Still doesn't cash flow. By the way, where do you keep it? Where do you store it? Who are you going to pay? And when you want to sell it, how long is it going to take for you to sell it? If you have $5 million worth of gold or 500 grand worth of gold, 250, it's going to probably take you 4 or 5 days to validate whether it's even gold. And then the whole time you had to pay somebody to keep it. So I hate it. I hate gold. I hate silver. I hate the idea of it. I don't know why it's valuable. I've never traded for gold or silver. It doesn't even make sense to me. But it doesn't mean I'm right.
Imagine mining Bitcoin cheaper than buying on an exchange with direct payouts hitting your wallet like clockwork. SAS Mining makes it real. You own the rig, no gimmicks. It's your asset pumping out Bitcoin every single day. No markup on hardware or electricity. They get paid when you get paid, fully aligning incentives. Mining Bitcoin below exchange cost is a great way to DCA your stack. It's so simple, anyone can do it. No tech skills required. You get white glove support and education, a rig performance guarantee, plus it's powered by 100% carbon-free energy prioritizing renewables. Ready to take control of your Bitcoin future? Visit sasmining.com by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the description down below to book a free consult and start mining today.
No, but it's a very interesting perspective too, because it almost sounds to me like both your journey through real estate and Bitcoin were coming from a solution perspective. Because we were focused on like the fiat money printer being the problem, then every kind of sound money might work for you, and gold might make sense. But because it doesn't, it seems like it's a very solution oriented kind of perspective. But shifting for just 1 second, because we talked about being kind of skeptical and worried about tomorrow, I want to get a sense, because you would have a very different outlook of, is there anything right now that kind of keeps you up at night that actually gives you pause or concern? And I'll just even tell you from my standpoint, I very much like Neil Howe and the fourth turning. And I do worry that things are going to get worse in the short to medium term before they get better.
Look, I don't even know what the fourth turning is.
I'll send you a copy for Christmas. It's basically, I'll give you just a rough example. Like even with the horrific assassination of Charlie Kirk, that I worry that, tensions globally are rising, and that we might have some tough times on the horizon, but maybe not. Maybe your outlook is incredibly optimistic, and we have good reason to be.
Grant, if I may, you ever see that wheel that says, tough, hard times make tough men, tough men make easy times. It's like 4 parts. That's what the fourth turning is about. Like, but it's in generations instead of, so like a generation of men is the hard time. Then they make easy, the weaker men and hard. Yeah. That's so the idea is like we're in the fourth turning now, which is we're in the hard times. We're going to need some tough men to get out of it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's just trying to terrify everybody. Everything's going to be fine. Okay. A buddy of mine, Bob Duggan, Bob's probably worth $17 billion, self-made guy, the wealthiest biotech guy in the world. I've known him for 20 years. He's like, Grant, no matter how negative things are, no matter how bad things are, no matter what's going on in the world, 90% of the people are going to work tomorrow. 90% are going to go to the store. 90% are going to go to work. They're going to take care of their families. Like there is no end of the world. And if there is, it doesn't matter. So,
Fair.
you know, and then now on the other thing, you guys are younger than I am. And I would just tell people that I think this is the best time in my lifetime to make money.
Really?
I've never seen a better, easier time to make money. I've never, ever. Like if I was 20 years old, I'd be a billionaire I'd be a billionaire before I'm 30 easily. Like I would know exactly what the track I'd run on. There is no reason for people to not be successful today. Period. Zero. There's none. Black, white, brown, male, female, young, old. You could be 14 years old and have a YouTube channel today making millions of dollars.
Yep. If you were 25 years old right now, where would you be focusing your attention? What do you think is at least a promising track to run on then?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't worry about investments. I would worry about getting great at something, anything. You have to get great at something. You have to become exceptional at something. You have to become abnormally gifted, which doesn't mean God's never going to give you the poof. You have to work it out. You're going to have to add 10,000 hours until people are like, dude, how do you do that, man? What's that thing you do? Why do you show up so early? Why do you stay so late? It's got to be that. Like, that ain't changing, folks. Bitcoin's not changing it. AI's not changing it. Ain't nothing ever going to change the fact that if you're an exceptional human being and you show up every day with exceptional gifts and then use those gifts every day, somebody's going to pay you a fortune one day. Not in the beginning, they won't. Everybody, you're going to be underpaid most of the time. And then suddenly if somebody sees that thing you do, like, who are you? What do you do? They have to be asking you these weird questions like, what are you on? You know, where'd you learn that? Like that. What are you part of a church or something? Like, what's happening? That was Charlie Kirk, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Like where'd he come from? You know, that's what happened in 10 years. He worked his ass off. That's what happened in 10 years. And he was underpaid the entire time until the last little bit. And that's the truth about most people. They're underpaid most of their life. And then one day, hopefully you'll get overpaid. So number one, I'd focus on myself. Second thing is I would definitely be in the real estate space. I would be looking at real estate as a place. It's not going to get cheaper. It's going to get more expensive. Can't replace it easily. People are going to become renters at scale, for economic reasons and for choice. I would be looking at AI. I would become an AI expert. I would know more about AI than anyone else in my community. I'd probably sell AI consulting services, collect the fiat, buy real estate. And then when the real estate starts cash flowing, I'd use the cash flow from real estate to add Bitcoin. And I wouldn't get married. I wouldn't be chasing orange vaginas or any color vagina. And I would just focus for 10 years on me. And, you know, hope to get rich by the time I'm 35 and then start worrying about family and kids and all that.
Build up the base to then build it upon.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. There's one thing that immediately comes to mind for that. You're unbelievably gifted. We're talking about skills and like honing those skills. You're unbelievably gifted as a salesman, a communicator. I think it's 11 books, roughly at this point, a very accomplished author. I think that communication skills are hugely criminally undervalued for most people, that they are unbelievably useful in whatever field that you're in. Is there any like one or two pieces of advice or wisdom regarding sales communication that you can maybe impart in people to really help them level up, or what they should do to level up those skills?
So yeah, look, man, there's nothing more valuable than somebody. It's the top line of your income statement. Your household income is the number one line. Your business income, your revenue, it's sales. It was called sales for years. And then some accountant came in and said, let's call it revenue. It sounds better. Okay, whatever, bro. It's sales, income. Okay, that's the problem I have with most of these treasury companies. They have no income. They have no products. They have no services. They have no customers. They say that they're copying Saylor. They're not copying Saylor. Saylor had $75 million of EBITDA. He probably had $200 million worth of revenue at, what was the original company?
MicroStrategy.
Yeah. He had couple $100 million worth of revenue, a bunch of customers, recurring revenue, okay, income. He had income. Then he converted his balance sheet to Bitcoin and then started repeating the cycle. Most of these treasury companies have no customers, no recurring, no products. Like, you need income, and income is sales. So for those of you who hate sales, just understand you're telling the universe, I hate income. And now what's more important than sales is an audience. Because if you're a good salesman and you have no audience, you got a problem. So I didn't know this, dude. The biggest problem in the world is marketing. I'm a better marketer than I am a salesman, and I'm a great salesman.
I say, really? Okay, yeah, tell me more.
Yeah, so you need an audience, right? You guys have an audience.
Yep.
Then if you elect not to sell your audience anything, shame on you. Because here's the deal. If you have an audience and you don't convert them to a customer, you have an audience that will feel out of exchange. They will start to actually feel bad about the situation. The audience wants to give back to you guys. You provide tremendous value. The ones that give you something back, not just eyeballs, by the way, but they actually buy your products, your services, your hats, your merch, whatever you're offering. They become a sponsor. They actually become better. You complete the spiritual exchange. As opposed to me I go on my YouTube channel and we have, I don't know, 2 or 3 million followers on YouTube, and I just give content there. Those people actually don't feel that good. They don't feel that good about me. The ones that feel best about me are the ones that say, hey, I've watched 50 of your YouTube videos. Now I'm going to call your office and buy something from you. Those have a different relationship with me than the people that just view me. So I tell you guys, get great at marketing, get a bigger 10x your audience.
Yep.
And then 10x it again. And then make sure you convert everybody to a sale.
It's interesting how that reciprocity does build in like a better relationship and that people actually like to. Just like the simplest example is people like gift giving, right? And if they got something of value, they like to feel like they've they're not, it's almost like you're uncomfortable sitting in an obligation or feeling like you're on the,
Yeah. If we go to dinner and every time we go to dinner, I insist on paying, sooner or later, you will resent me.
Yes.
Interesting.
No, 100%.
Same thing with a customer, right? So you want to give your customer. We hit about 150 million people a year. 150,000 people buy something from me every single year. So that's 0.001%. 99.9% of my audience never buys anything from me. And I'm fine with that. And dude, sometimes selling these people is like pulling teeth. Like it's like getting people to invest with me. Sometimes I have to literally pull their whole front, all their dental out of their face. And then 4 or 5 years later, they're like, bro, I'm glad you taught me into that.
So if you're coming with something of value, then it's just a matter of just being able to communicate it. So you were talking about how marketing was almost more valuable than the sales standpoint. Was there anything, because I believe, like, if I'm not mistaken, I believe you were in car sales, and then we were coaching on sales as well too. And then there was the transition to marketing.
Yeah.
Were there any big mistakes? Because usually experience is a great teacher. Were there any big mistakes in marketing in the early days? You're like, oh, I learned from that, and it just 10x where we went.
Dude, there's been about $5 billion.
Oh, geez. Okay.
$5 billion of mistakes. Yeah, look, I mean, you don't have enough time in the show to talk about all the mistakes I made.
Oh, fair enough.
So first of all, I was in sales. I sold shoes, roofing, fish, cars, HVAC, insurance, and I didn't know what I was doing. I mean, that was the first mistake. I didn't know how to sell anything. I didn't know how to greet a customer. I didn't know how to write a customer up. I didn't know how to negotiate. That's my wife there, probably coming in here trying to steal our Bitcoin.
Hi.
Hello.
See, even guys, don't worry about some stranger coming and stealing your stuff. Worry about your wife stealing your stuff.
Empires are destroyed from within. Make sure you marry well. Make sure you marry right. Find the one you trust.
Okay.
That is some phenomenal advice, by the way. I completely agree.
Stuff we've been talking about today.
Really? Okay. How about it? I just
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Last night, she said to me, she's like, I want to pay the mortgage this month. Y'all seen that video that's going around on Instagram?
No, I haven't.
says,
Tell me about this one.
I want to pay the mortgage this month. So she saw this thing that's going around and she's like, Grant, I want to pay the mortgage this month, but I don't have the money. And I'm like, oh, really? I sit up, I'm literally laying down. I'm like, oh, really? You want to pay the mortgage this month? And she's like, yeah, I want to pay the mortgage. I said, good. Elena, how much is the mortgage? And she's like, I don't know, but I want to pay it. And I'm like, Elena, thank you, but we don't have a mortgage.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah. So look, the mistakes I have made are so many, guys. Like, then when I finally learned to sell, I thought I hated selling. I didn't hate selling. I hated it. I didn't know what I was doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to hate it. If you don't know how to dance, you're going to hate dancing. If you don't know how to play paddleball, you're going to hate paddleball. If you don't know how to code, you're going to hate coding. And that's all I was doing. I just hated something I didn't understand. And then when I committed to it, I actually loved it. It was like, oh, this is great, dude. I can make money like this. So that was one mistake. Second mistake was I sold cars and you could only make $200 a car. Like that was stupid.
Oh, okay.
And then I consulted car dealers and I was trading time for money. I became the number one consultant in the world for auto dealers and manufacturers.
Wow.
And it was a great business. I was making a couple $1,000,000 a year, but it wasn't scalable. I was basically just a prostitute. I was selling time for money. Another mistake was I sat on too much cash. I mean, bro, how long you want me to go? You want me? I'll kill myself here in a second.
Here, give me one, and then Gary, do you have any? I'll see if you have any other questions. I do have one I want to end on as well too. In terms of, it's quite the big stack. If someone was going to pick up one of the books to improve either their marketing or sales skills, which one?
Man, I don't know. I mean, maybe I would get this book. I'd get the 10X rule.
10X book. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that went nuclear and created like a whole movement. And people getting 10X tattoos and doing 10X workshops. There was one in Dubai this weekend. We've done events where there's 34,000 business people. 10X is basically a concept of scaling and multiplying. You know, 1 Bitcoin's not enough. You need 10. 10's not enough. You need 100. If you can get 100, you can get 1,000. And if you can get 1,000, you should get 10,000. You know, more is more. And multiplying's better than adding.
No, of course, obviously. Grant, I want to ask you, you said that basically everything is sales, ultimately. You know, that's what it all comes down to.
Hang on one second, guys.
Yeah, sure.
No worries.
1 o'clock. This is Jared Dillion, 10X Money. Talk to you one day.
Okay, you got to push him back a second.
Okay.
Got to wrap quick?
We'll edit that out.
No, we're good. Yeah, no, you don't need to.
All right, sweet.
Keep it real, man. Keep it real. Shit. Like, this is how the world really works right now.
It's true.
Right? So I made a commitment to somebody. I said, push the guy back. I like you guys. You got a big audience. And
Well,
yeah.
we don't want to take too much of your time, but I got a personal question because I want to be better at sales. You told me how everything just comes down to sales. And I think you have a really good point in that. And I feel like I'm horrible at sales. Horrible. I'll give you an example. I used to play with an improv comedy troupe in New York City, and it was kind of a tourist trap improv comedy troupe where part of getting the audiences, we had to go out into Times Square and try to hawk tickets to tourists to come see the show. And I was always dead last in sales, dead fucking last at the bottom, because they'd ask me, they'd say like, hey, is it a good show? And I'd be honest. I'd say, I don't know. It's improv comedy. There's no script. This could be a horrible show, but it might be good. I can promise you it's going to be original, but I never wanted to promise somebody it's going to be a great show when I know they're going to be in New York for only 2 or 3 days. They're here with their family, limited time, limited budget. I didn't want to promise something that I couldn't necessarily guarantee I could deliver. And can one be both a great salesman and also a salesman of high honesty and integrity?
100%.
Okay.
You know, your problem was that you weren't convinced it was a great show.
Yeah.
And I would say if you asked me to sell that ticket, I'd be like, look, man, tonight, the best improv show you will ever see in your lifetime. For tonight, for sure. Number 1. Number 2, you will never forget tonight. Number 2. And number 3, if you don't absolutely love tonight, well, I wish I could give you your money back and I can't. Okay, I will give you a hug when you leave.
Okay.
This
I
will
don't-
be the best. Let me just repeat this. This will be, how many of you guys are together? 4? Good. I'm going to promise all 4 of you, this will be the best improv you see ever in your lifetime. And if you don't go, you will regret it. Can I count on you guys tonight? See, because I wouldn't sell something I didn't believe in, Gary. Okay. Now, number 1. Number 2, even if I thought it was going to be a shit show, I would say that. Because if they don't come, I don't need to guarantee anything. They won't be there.
Okay.
Yep.
And number 2, if they don't come, bro, then, if they come and I tell them it's going to be the greatest show ever, and they come with the idea it's going to be the greatest show ever, and the expectation is going to be the greatest show ever, maybe they will actually see the greatest show ever.
Yep.
This is what Donald Trump does so well. Make America great again. Repeat the command. Make it great again. Make it great again. Make it like there has to be some pitch, some promotion, some promise. Otherwise, like, why would I stop doing what I'm doing? And Gary, I would suggest to you that any improv would be better than me sitting in my hotel by myself.
Well, that's fair.
100%.
And I believe that improv is the greatest single show on earth. I mean, I genuinely believe that.
Do you?
Absolutely, dude. The greatest show in the world. The greatest show in the world. The smartest, most intelligent people on planet Earth are comedians that are working out their improv.
Because I think most improv is shit. But all right.
See, that was great. That right there was great, dude. See, because improv teaches people to live in the moment. And where do you get to learn that? You could hear anything. Anything could happen.
Yeah, true.
And by the way, even bad improv empowers me. I'm like, fuck, that guy's fucking terrible.
True.
That guy must have come from an orange vagina. That fucking sucks.
That's what we call a callback in the business.
So anyway, I wouldn't sell something, and I've sold a lot of stuff I didn't believe in. I had to get my head wrapped around why I believed in it, or I wouldn't sell it. I've sold probably $1.2 or $3 billion of links over the internet, digital links. And I've raised almost $1.8 billion for our real estate projects. This Bitcoin thing. How do you see? Here's the other question. How do you believe in something? Right? Well, the first real estate Bitcoin project we did was $88 million. How do I believe in it? I bought it with my money.
Mm-hmm.
It was 88 million. I paid 72 for the real estate, 15 for the Bitcoin. I wrote checks for both of it, raised money. I really wrote my checks. And then I went to my audience and said, I already bought it. It's my dog food. I'm stuck with this dog food and I'm going to eat it or I'm going to share it with you. I had no clue whether it was going to work or not. I mean, I thought it was going to work. I knew the real estate was good. I didn't know if the Bitcoin, but it's the best performing deal that we've done in 25 years.
Wow.
So then I did a second one, then I did a third one, then I did a fourth one, right? So you got to believe, man. You got to believe it. Otherwise you can't sell it, particularly if you're an honest person and you look like you're an honest guy.
See, I'm a good actor too. But I genuinely do believe in our company, in Bitcoin Mentor. Like I know the people, we've talked, I believe in the people, I believe in the product. So I can get behind that. I guess maybe I need to work on finding things to better understand that I can get behind. And maybe I'll get there at some point. But for my company now, Bitcoin Mentor, I'm on board 100%. I love it. That's just me.
Then your job then is to make sure how big's your audience?
We got about 380,000 subscribers here, so we'll get a couple thousand watching the podcast for sure.
Yeah, dozens of listeners.
So
Dozens.
your next target would be, you guys should sit down. That should be your next target. How do I go from 380,000 to 3.8 million viewers?
Agreed.
Okay. It shouldn't be, how do I go from 380 to 400? You're going to get to 400.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get to 400. It's like, how do I get to 3.8 now? Okay. How do I reach another audience? What do you guys have to do to get that bigger audience? And how do I scale that out? Then what am I going to sell them in the process? Why shouldn't you sell them?
I can't think of a reason not to. I think we offer a great product and a great service.
Exactly. So they're going to buy something.
All right.
Your audience is going to buy shit from me. Some of your audience is going to come invest with me.
Great.
Okay. If they don't, they're going to go to Starbucks. They're going to go to McDonald's. They're going somewhere. People are moving money, right? They're moving money to somebody. And so I just got to figure, how do I get in that ecosystem where they want to move some to me? And not just do it once, but twice or 3 times or 4 times.
I absolutely love it, and I completely agree. Maybe I'll see you at one of the Bitcoin conferences there, Grant, and you can tell me some insider tricks for 10xing the views to 3.8 million in person. We've taken up a lot of your time. Hugely appreciate it. Please do tell the audience, where can they go to check out the investment projects, follow you, all that fun stuff? Yeah,
CardoneCapital.com is where our current real estate Bitcoin fund is open. And again, I have, what are we in, September? I'll probably have another 2 weeks to talk about this before I might have to go quiet on it. But the goal is to take these companies these 12 real estate Bitcoin funds. We're going to wrap them up into a public company. We already have a target. Actually had a meeting this morning about how to do this when I realized I had a call with you guys. And the goal is to create the first real estate Bitcoin public company traded on NASDAQ that people can trade in and out of. It's going to provide liquidity for my investors. And I think this is going to be the beginning of changing the way people invest in real estate forever. I believe in the future, people will not buy real estate by itself. They will buy real estate. They will stack some coin on top. They will integrate and hybrid the two together. The two together are actually better than separately. Some people would argue with me on that, but we could have a long argument about it. And then become a public company. When it's publicly traded, then the real estate becomes liquid and the Bitcoin becomes liquid, where you could sell tiny shares of it rather than dismembering either one of them. So I'd love to know from your audience, by the way, they can find it at Cardone Capital, but I'd love to know from your audience in comments, this is a trick, is what do you think's better, the real estate or the real estate and the Bitcoin together, or the Bitcoin by itself? You'll get a bunch of input on this.
Hey, you. Yes, you watching the Bitcoin price movements and the latest exciting news. It's awesome to stay informed, but the real power of Bitcoin comes from taking control. Don't just watch, take action. Head over to btcsessions.ca/learn for free step-by-step tutorials that guide you through every major skill you need to know, plus full video playlists for deeper dives on any topic you like. And if you're ready for the ultimate fast track, scroll to the bottom and check out bitcoinmentor.io for premium one-on-one experience with my team of Bitcoin experts to ensure you get it right the first time. Don't wait. Secure your Bitcoin future today. Hit the link in the show notes or scan the QR code on the screen.
If you enjoyed this episode with Grant Cardone, please do like and subscribe, and check out the previous episode with Tomer Strolight on the controversial op return changes.